Hello. Today what I want to do is I want to share a improved warming shelter design that I came up with so folks can just get out of the wind, or they can have the benefit of a fire in front of the shelter as well, and having the radiation of the fire and reflection from the fire to keep them warm. So it's a warming shelter, and what I need are 3 trees. Now you can get by with 1 tree. That's going to be your back portion of your shelter. Then you can put a couple poles if you want, stick them in the ground, and still do the same thing. I look for 3 trees that are in somewhat of a V shape. This one here will be my back. I'll go to this one, and then I'll go to that one. So my tarp's going to be spread out like this here. So what this shelter is going to do is it's going to block the wind. If you have the temperature on your thermometer, if you're out of the wind, that is what you're at. If you have a wind blowing, then you're feeling the wind chill, which is much lower than the temperature. If you can get in a place out of the wind, then you're going to be able to control your core temperature and be able to retain some heat and keep warm. That's what a shelter does. It is something we construct or we wear to help maintain our core temperature, keeping it from getting too low or too high. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to trim the back tree. I've got to make sure there's no branches on it that's going to poke my tarp, because my tarp's going to wrap around this back tree. So what I'll do, I don't have to worry about the front ones. The lower ones, sure, if I'm actually going to sit here and use this as a backstop, then I'd trim those off. But really, all I have to worry about is the ones out like this. And mostly in the back, run my knife up to the height. Now, that didn't harm that at all. Now all I have to do is run a ridge line. Now this is a improved shelter because I did a little bit different, but this one is adjustable and it works very well. So playing around with shelters that you design, you find different ways to do it, and usually better ways. This one here, I found a better way. So what I'm going to do is I've got 18 feet of bank or paracord here, and I'm just going to tie it on here 6 feet high. I have an 8x6 tarp, so I'm going to just roughly around 6 feet high. Put whatever knot you want in it. There we go. I'm going to come back to here. Just wrap it around. Pull it tight. Then I'll just go over to this other tree. Like that. And then tie it off. That's how I start. And now, all I have to do is put a couple prusik knots. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one on this side. So what I have here are 4 loops. And to make a prusik knot, I'm going to just wrap this over and go through. Usually you go through 3 times. I have small loops here, so I'm only going through twice with these ones. And that's on there. Show you that again, very simple. All I have to do is wrap that around and go through 3 times for a prusik knot. And then the portion that you're actually putting through, pull on that. And what this knot does is I can move it around to adjust, but if I pull it tight, it doesn't move. so it's adjustable. Very, very cool knot. So I need one on this side and one on the other. So what I'm going to do now is, this is a 6x8 tarp. So I'm going to make sure that the height is going to be the 6 foot. 8 will go around. So I'm going to take my grommet, put my Prezi knot through it, and put a toggle. Just put a stick in there. That's going to hold that. Just like that. Now that holds that. Now, I'm going to take this and wrap it in behind this tree and come over to the other side. Now that I have that fastened there, I'm going to take my tarp and put it in behind this back tree. Like this. I can bring it right around and put my other Prezi knot through and put the stick in, making a toggle. Right like that, and pull it tight. Now, I have a wind block. I can stand right in here. And what makes this really great is it's adjustable. All I have to do, if the wind's blowing more on this side, I can push that in and pull this side out. Like that. So it's very adjustable. And I can also have trees that are further apart, different angles and such. It's dependent on what you find and what you like. Now all I have to do is stake the bottoms, and this is done. You can build a fire out front, get the radiant heat from that and the reflective quality. If you use basically a space blanket type shelter to set it up, I've used that as well in my previous, and you still have the reflective properties, and it's hitting on like a 45, so you're going to be toasty warm. And I'll put a link down below for that video where I used a fire to keep warm with this type of shelter. But having the ridge line like this and the Prezi knots really improved this shelter. So now what I'm going to do is just stake these out in the bottom. The other two Prezi knots that I made, if I was to make my own stake, I would wrap it around and use that and then put a toggle. What I mean by that is taking my loop like this, wrap it around, put it in through, and that gives me my stake. Oops. Of course that isn't no good for a stake. But that there, and then I can put this loop through the grommet and pin it to the ground. Myself, I carry stakes like this, these aluminum stakes, just for this purpose, so I don't have to make a stake. And they actually dingle and dangle as I walk to alert any animals I'm in the area. So multi-purpose, but I can do the same thing. I just shove that through, put a stick through it, and then I can pin it. Take it down. Like that, and then the other side. Side here, I could just tie to this tree as well if I wanted to. But I'll see if this will reach and it will hold. So this here would be the warming shelter. Have a fire out front. It's going to really improve how warm it is in here. I could put a big pile of brush on the ground as well, some on the back if the tree's cold, and then I could sit in here as well with my fire. Or this is tall enough that the wind would blow right past. So I'm glad that I could share this shelter with you, because it may be something that someone may be able to use. And someone that uses this and it keeps them warm, that's a good feeling that I was able to show it. So I want to thank you for watching. Take care. All the best.